Yo, what's going on guys? Sinister Skater here. Black Ops 4 was updated recently to update 1.04, which was a massive update. We got a bunch of new game modes, new spawn logic, weapon balances for nearly half the weapons in the game. There's a lot of stuff going on in this update. This went live yesterday on Xbox One and PS4. It is 12 gigabytes on Xbox One and 11 gigabytes on PS4. And then the 4.5 gigabyte update went live on PC earlier today. So if you guys haven't downloaded the update yet and plan on playing Black Ops 4 soon, make sure you do that ASAP. So a few notes to go over before we get into the weapon rebalancing. COD points are now live in Black Ops 4, and Season Pass holders got an additional 1,000 Call of Duty points and 300 Nebulium Plasma. There are new weekly featured playlists in the featured playlist slot. First things first, Gun Game has made its debut into Black Ops 4, which is pretty awesome. If you guys don't know what that is, every time you get a kill, it switches you to a new weapon. Mercenary Deathmatch Mosh Pit is now live in the featured playlists, and then Chaos Domination has been introduced into featured playlists. This is a 6v6 domination where it goes up to 300 points instead of 200 points. Just that means halftime is at 150 points. So super long games, and the flag caps only take 3 seconds, which is a bit similar to the older Call of Duties. Definitely gonna try that out. That seems exciting. And then also just a regular playlist change. The hardcore team deathmatch and hardcore kill confirmed player counts got up to 6v6 instead of 5v5, and you can use 2 of the same specialists, just like how core, TDM, and kill confirmed work. Other notes, they reduced the range needed for the long shot medals for the camo challenges, so it should be easier to get some long shots now. Players no longer can crouch or prone while gesturing. They also increased the XP earn rate in Heist and increased the XP per kill in free-for-all, so that's cool. Let's get into some spawn adjustments. The team deathmatch spawns have been adjusted, and they have map-specific adjustments for slums, summit, militia, and firing range. Domination has specific adjustments for icebreaker, contraband, hacienda, payload, gridlock, slums, militia, summit, jungle, and firing range. And then Hardpoint had some specific map adjustments for frequency and seaside, and they also tuned the logic of the hardpoint zones affecting the spawns around them. And then lastly, Free For All and Control got map specific spawn adjustments for summit, slums, militia, and firing range. So that takes care of the general updates. Let's get into the weapon balances, the specialist rebalances, a whole bunch of rebalances. Assault rifles. All of these assault rifles got nerfed a little bit. They reduced the aim down sight movement speed, but they also reduced the aim down sight in transition speed. So you got a little take-give there. The ICR specifically had its headshot damage reduced, and they also slightly reduced its recoil. The Vapor, they reduced the close range headshot multiplier and also reduced its damage range, and also reduced its headshot multiplier with high caliber, so you can no longer 3-shot with that attachment, making a net nerf for the Vapor overall. SMGs, the MX9 had its range increased, but they also reduced the headshot multiplier with high caliber, so you can no longer 4-hit kill with it. The Cordite also had its range increase, and they adjusted the belt feed mod for it, and they increased the overheat rate for that. The GKS got its operator mod nerfed a little bit. They increased the time between the bursts, so it'll take longer for you to empty out an entire clip now. And the SOG, finally, the dual wield mod for that, got its hip fire accuracy reduced. Moving on to tactical rifles, the ABR-223 had an increase in its max damage range, and they also improved the laser sight 1 and 2 attachments hipfire accuracy. They also reduced the movement speed when using the stock attachment on the ABR, and they also adjusted its repeater mod so it takes longer to accelerate its fire rate over time. The Swordfish had a net nerf overall. They reduced the high caliber headshot multiplier so you can no longer 3-hit kill with it, and its Pentaburst mod also got its extra clip size reduced. Moving on to snipers, they all got reworked in some way. For every single sniper, they removed the turn sway when you aim down sights. So if you're aimed down sights and you kind of turn a little bit, the reticle would sway. Now that's removed, so your reticle will be exactly where you had it in the first place. Paladin had a lot of tuning to it. They adjusted the high caliber 2 attachment, so it will no longer 2-hit kill lower torso shots on enemies who have the TAC 5 boost, where they have the 200 HP. Its FMJ2 got buffed, so it does more damage against score streaks, and then Stabilizer 2 got buffed so you can hold your breath a lot sooner after already holding your breath. The Outlaw sniper rifle had a net buff. They increased its base damage from 110 to 130. They reduced its idle sway. They increased its base movement speed, and they also increased the aim down sight movement speed when using the stock attachment. The SDM also got a net buff. They increased its clip size from 10 to 12 and reduced its idle sway. Then lastly, the 𝐓𝐡𝐚𝐳𝐤𝐬, again with the net buff, they upped its damage profile from 120 to 140 and increased the aim down sight's movement speed when using the stock attachment. Moving on to Lmgs. Titan had its headshot damage reduced. They also reduced its hipfire accuracy, and they also reduced its movement speed when using the stock attachment. As for the VK-M70, they reduced its movement speed while firing, reduced its damage overall, and reduced its bullet tracer size with the fat barrel mod. The 𝐓𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐤𝐬 had some adjustments. They improved its recoil mitigation with the steady grip and also reduced the movement speed and accuracy with the crossbar operator mod. Pistols, every single pistol got reduced aim down sight in speed, and the RK7 Garrison got reworked so it reloads faster, but it also takes more time in between each of the bursts shot with that weapon. Finally, the last set of weapons here, the shotguns. The �MOG-12 had its one-hit kill range reduced when using the choked barrel attachment, and its Dragon's Breath operator mod got a bug fix where they solved an issue where the VFX and the sound were triggering incorrectly at times. Whew, man, a lot of stuff, and we're not even halfway through all the adjustments. We still got attachments to go over. So Grip 2, they reduced the flinch mitigation for that attachment. For the suppressor, they reduced the damage fall off ranges, making the suppressor a little bit worse. The dual zoom, recon, and hollow sight all had reduced recoil when aiming down sight, and the ELO optic got increased recoil when aiming down sight. Moving on to gear, the stim shot got a little nerf. They increased the time it takes to fully heal yourself. The acoustic sensor got a nerf. They reduced the range at which you can hear sprinting enemies. And the armor got reworked, and they resolved an issue where armor protected against more damage than Treyarch intended. Let's move on to the specialists. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 specialists got reworked. Ajax got overall nerfed. It takes longer to charge your ballistic shield, and explosives will now damage the front of the ballistic shield, making him a little bit less tanky of a character. Nomad got a nerf. They reduced its K9's health by 10%. Crash got a nerfed. They reduced the bonus score from 50 to 25 when teammates use your assault pack. Firebreak got a net buff. The Purifier has been reworked so that any damage with it is a guaranteed eventual kill against a player who is not using tac mask. Recon got a nerf. They reduced its sensor dart duration. And Torque got a buff, surprisingly. They increased its barricade hit points and also increased the earn rate for barricade. So it was already one of the fastest charging specialist weapons in the game. Now it's going to be even faster, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. But lastly here on the list, we have Prophet, who got buffed. They greatly increased his Tempest projectile speed, so it should be a lot easier to hit those shots. And they also slightly increased Tempest's lightning change distance, so you can, take out groups of enemies a lot easier with it. They also fixed an issue where being hit with an explosive charge would disable Tempest's charge, so that's good. Moving on to perks, we have 2 perk reworks. Dead Silence got a big buff. They reduced its self-movement volume, so you won't be able to hear your own footsteps as easily. And they also reduced the distance at which enemies can hear Dead Silence players, so you can be a little bit more sneakier on the map. Engineer also got reworked. It no longer will highlight the extraction helicopter in Heist. We got 3 Scorestreak Fixes. Mantis had a little bug fix, so it'll no longer be destroyed when touching out-of-bound areas. Dart got a pretty big buff, an interesting buff nonetheless. They increased its damage and its explosive radius, and you can also now use a second dart. And from the way I read the patch notes, it looks like you can stack the dart Scorestreaks and have 2 of them ready to go at any time, which is very interesting. I don't think they've done that before with Call of Duty. Then lastly, the Strike Team had a bug fix where, quote, Strike Team kills no longer contribute towards owner's kills without dying medals. We've got a few Blackout Fixes. 100 player solos is now in the featured playlist. The max player count for duos and quads has been set to 88, and they also unlock the remaining specialist character missions, those being Battery, Firebreak, Nomad, Prophet, Ruin, and Seraph. Treyarch also improved the visual quality of the grass in Blackout, which is kind of a big deal because that wasn't too great looking before. And they also adjusted some audio. So they adjusted footsteps to ensure that your teammates' footsteps are much quieter than the enemy footsteps. So you should be able to sound hole a little bit easier and pinpoint where people are coming from. And they also adjusted the different armor levels footsteps, because apparently if you have level 3 armor, your footsteps are a little bit more heavier than if you have level 1. They also fixed the bug where footsteps were silent and muffled when they shouldn't be. So audio and Blackout should be much better across the board. And as for armor, they also adjusted it to take less damage at upper body multipliers. So for example, if you're shooting people in the head or shooting people in the upper chest, the armor will be destroyed a lot quicker compared to shooting them in their feet. Oh man, this is a lot of patch notes. We're almost done here. We got 2 more categories. These are actually really quick. They got the zombies fixes. They increased the XP earn rate for the hardcore and realistic difficulties. Blood of the Dead had some Easter egg bug fixes where the new industry's portal ghosts remain visible, and that is fixed. That no longer does that and doesn't hold you up on the Easter egg. And they also fixed the lever animation for the powerhouse ghoul for the main Easter egg step. 9 got a few bug fixes where there was this bug where players were apparently tossed outside of the play area in the boss battle arena, which is pretty big. And then also another one that would be horrible if that happened to you is 𝐓𝐴 used to take away weapons and money when you used it. So they fixed that bug and should no longer be doing that. They also, as for like the multiplayer and everything, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but a bunch of different exploits for bug fixes. They fixed camos, mutations, prestige master bugs in zombies. The SG-12 got a fix where before, if you pack punch the gun, you'd lose all your attachments. So now your attachments should stay if you pack a punch the SG-12. And then finally, they made it where if you get more than 4 perks, those additional perks will display on your HUD. And lastly, some PC-specific changes. They fixed the launch crash, exit crash, dropping from a match crash, changing graphic settings crash. All those different crashes had been fixed, so the PC build should be running much more stable than it has before. Holy cow, this is a long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something new. You've had to learn something new. There's a bunch of new stuff happening in Black Ops 4. So let me know what the most exciting thing you took away from these patch notes are down below in the comments. But that'll be it. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is 𝐡𝐴𝐳𝐤𝐬. Be sure to like the video if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe for future gaming and Call of Duty content. While you're at it, hit the bell notification so you get notified as soon as any of my content goes live. The links are down below in the description for 10% off control fees as well as into the AM apparel. You also find other goodies down there like my Amazon Associates link, links to all the gear I used to record and produce videos and fun things like that. But again, thanks for watching, guys. My name is 𝐡𝐴𝐳𝐤𝐬. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.